welcome to Coloring with a Cast. We're here just to have a little relaxing, fun time and enjoy by kind of creating, which I feel is very on point for Comic-Con. So let's begin with the story here. Man in the White Van. Who wants to? Let's have you kind of explain the story as we come into this world and this time too.
Sure. Yeah. No. It's like it's a '70s thriller throwback, and it's about this girl who, kind of living her best life, kind of carefree world of the '70s, and when she has no idea that her world is about to be turned upside down by this ominous white van that begins stalking her. Her parents' disbelief in her being followed ends up leading to a Halloween nightmare, 1975.
Right. And I have to ask, for our sisters, how much were you going through this going, it'd be so much easier if I had a phone. I could have taken a picture of the guy in the van. I could have proven it. All these things up there too. So, but that put it in the 70s makes it a different world and different things happen because of it.
Totally, especially like in a small town. I mean, that was before like 911. No one was tracking their kids on Life 360. Like, no one was videoing everything and putting it on Instagram Reels and Snapchat. So it was very different. I think that's one thing that I really had to sort of like wrap my head around, because obviously I grew up with the phone in my hand and being able to do all those things very easily. So yeah, definitely something to think about.
I think like for Allie Larder and Sean Astin, who play our parents magnificently in the film, that was, it was for them, like being modern parents, they have, we got Life 360 to track the kids' whereabouts and everything. And for them, it was really taking themselves out, trying to remove themselves from all the modern technology and just place them in the 70s in a small town with the mindset that only bad things happen in big cities. And I remember talking with them and explaining to them that the town sheriff at the time said that the worst thing that he really was looking at was, how do I get the town drunk home on a Friday night?
Right.
So, I mean, when that's your threat level in a small town, you're kind of set up and unprepared for something as terrible as what ended up unfolding there.
Right. I want to take a moment now to kind of introduce the cast. If you can say your name and then introduce your character. So talk about your character and him and the family too.
I'm Gavin Warren, and I play the role Daniel.
And how would you best explain him?
He is. I'm sisters with these.
That's our sister right there.
Those are my sisters in the film. They're super cool, and they're actually a lot like my sisters. If I were to have sisters, that's what I'd imagine.
That's
really sweet.
So cute. And then we go to the friend.
Yes, my name is Skai Jackson, and I play Patty, who is Annie's best friend, and I feel like her biggest support through this whole thing. There's a lot going on.
My name is Brec Bassinger, and I play Margaret. Annie's not biggest support. Yeah, we have just the fun older-younger sister dynamic, some fights, but some love, too.
And my name's Madison. I play Annie Williams, who is the protagonist of this film. It's told from her perspective. She goes through a lot of stuff, lots of growth in her family relationships and her personal self-identity, and then obviously with the van. So,
and speaking of the things she goes through, what was like shooting? Because you had some fun action. You were on horses. There was a bunch of cool things that kind of called upon you to be part of this world. So can you talk about doing some of those things?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, any time that I get to do any sort of like stunt or deal with an animal or have something intense, I'm like totally game and I love it. And luckily I had a few fun stunts that I was able to do myself in this movie. I remember me and Skai trained on the horses for that ending, sort of chase sequence. That was really fun. The ending sequence with me and Brec was really fun as far as stunts, and I'm trying not to give too much away.
Right.
But yeah, it was amazing. Pretty much anything that they would allow, us to do.
Well, I had to pry them away from doing their own stunts. I'd explain to them, I know you guys want to do it, but it'd be really great if we could film the next scene afterwards. But I mean, that's what, I mean, this cast and, you know, Brec and Madison and Skai were just so game. And, you know, I know that they all sort of love this genre as well. So, you know, they just wanted to throw themselves into it, which, you know, as a director, it's great to have that, you know, and you're painting your portrait and have this canvas and you've got these, you know, amazing talents to lend to that canvas that really want to dive in and give it their all is really helpful. And then you just got to pull them back sometimes. So.
That was kind of a pun. You said like paint the canvas. And
here we are.
Just
trying to, do my best to work it in.
She reads the script. You know what's happening. You know, can you actually tell us a little bit about, you know, shooting this where we have, you know, the white van, the unknown, you know, things working with the shadows at all too. Because I mean, essentially, this is the shark swimming through the water out there. You know.
Yeah. No. I mean, I will admittedly say that Jaws was an absolute inspiration. I mean, Spielberg is, you know, obviously salute the, you know, one of the all-time greats when it comes to suspense. And I really wanted to play with theater of the mind more so than, you know, it's not a slasher, it's not a gore fest. We really wanted to just really build on the suspense and find a way and kind of explore that, you know, in the early process with the cinematographer of how do we position this van? How do we make it scary? How often do we see it? And when we see it, how do we see it? How do we reveal it? And then a lot of, you know, time went into, you know, the lighting and, you know, making it, you know, giving it that, you know, menacing sensibility and ominous value to it.
So I want to go to the older sister and her things she does essentially, you know, her goals in life are a little bit different, the things she's more interested in. So how would you best describe her in a high school setting, I guess?
Margaret loves boys. Margaret loves fashion. Margaret loves picking on her little sister. I would say that's that kind of would be, what's it called? Like someone has a pack, like a blank pack, a starter pack. Yeah. That's Margaret's starter pack. But no, I really love that this movie was a period piece based in the 70s. I had so much fun like exploring the fashion side of that and also just like the music. Warren, I remember you gave me the idea of creating a playlist for Margaret, and it was so fun just to be able to turn that on and immediately get into her headspace.
Right.
Yeah.
I know for the kids too, it was like having Allie and Sean as the parents too. Of course, you're getting in trouble for a bunch of different reasons along the way. For a couple of different, sure, you for sure. But what was it like having them as parents on this one?
Oh, it was super awesome. They were a lot like parents. I mean, they acted outside of on set. They actually acted like they were. I mean, parents. It was pretty cool.
Totally. They were set parents.
Like a good family.
Yeah, like it was a good family. Like everyone.
Very cool. And then you know, Sean's father definitely is the stricter you know, arm, and Allie kind of comes in to kind of assuage the boo-boos and the problems and the issues too. So how did you kind of want this family dynamic to work when it's all surviving around, you know, one specific daughter and her adventures, but then again, you know, that's the unknown versus the we don't believe, you know?
Yes, we got together. I was really lucky to be able to get the whole cast together, about at least the family members, about a week before we started filming. And so we just started, you know, trying to develop that sense of family, trying to develop just a sense of camaraderie and understanding and familiarity with each other. And both Allie and Sean really, you know, took to that. I mean, we had this one evening where, you know, we kind of got together. Allie was cooking. They did it. They were doing like a drawing, visual art, how to.
We're just so artsy. We're always.
I feel like every time I see you guys are drawing something. And we were there for dinner, and Sean was there, and somehow it came up because I'm a Goonies fan. And I had asked these two if they had ever seen Goonies before, and they were like clueless. So the next thing I know, Sean was over at the TV, like on Netflix. He's like, "Well, it's on right now on Netflix." So anyway, he put it on.
He always knows what service it's on.
He knows it's like it's on Netflix.
It's Hulu today, I think. So
7:15 on NBC.
It's actually running 5 minutes late today because of but it was great because they hadn't seen it. So while we were like eating and casually eating and watching it, and it was just a neat experience to get sort of this behind the scenes, kind of mystery science theater 3000, talk through of.
Did you give director's commentary?
Yeah, it was like the actor's commentary on the Goonies from Sean. So that was, as a huge fan myself, that was definitely an offset highlight of the experience.
The best way to see the movie for the first time as well.
Yeah. If you get the chance. Take it.
Take it.
If Sean Astin happens to be around.
One of my all-time favorites, by the way. I love that movie. Great movie.
I like how you've seen it, but we hadn't.
I know. I watched
It's
it like
so
forever
good.
ago. Me and my brother used to watch it all the time. I think it was my brother's favorite movie for a while.
It's a safe kid adventure movie. There's a
Yeah.
certain amount of those, and back in the 80s, they tend to lean more towards boys or girls. Right? They didn't really try to even out everyone across the board too. So
no, not really. And Sean's such a great storyteller, just in general. That if there was ever a moment when we were filming and I had to step away and kind of fix something with lighting or something and then come back to the talent, I feel like I would always come back and Sean would be like holding court, telling a new story from Lord of the Rings or Goonies or Rudy or he's a cinematic legend, so he's got stories banked, he's such a great storyteller, and he's a director in his own right, so having him on set from my first film was nice just to kind of have that mentoring presence, sort of side that I could kind of go to, and ask him for we good here?
Yeah. Talking about protagonists and their friend too. What was it like for you? I don't know which way you shot. The build of this is actually serious. This is actually something happening. Like where did you find those moments to be like, okay, well, we're at an 8 and we're gonna go to a 10 kind of thing?
Yeah, that was something that was really challenging, especially since filming any independent film, or any film really, you never have enough time, right? So really keeping in mind, okay, what point am I at in the story? What is her character development? And I think for a lot of that, it was you helping me out, keeping me on track. And yeah, pretty much Warren is the best and he helped me out. It was all
I will
Warren.
say,
But I know we tracked through it before
Yeah.
production even started,
Right.
because we knew on the day it was going to be
Fast and Furious,
Right.
all about
few takes
execution.
and
So
then moving on. So prior to production, we talked it out and had went through the entire script basically and marked out.
yeah, we're just trying to figure out the shorthand of when it needed to be up a notch, and whether this was a crisis or this was building toward a crisis, and that way it's just easier for us to jump in right there with shorthand, and we're like, hey, you're at a 6, gotcha,
So the real question is, at any point in time, has a van been cool to have, or is it always slightly creepy? Is there always a little bit creepy? If you go to high school and someone's got a Dodge Caravan, okay, that's cool,
I'm
but
walking the other way.
Sky's not
I've seen some really groovy bands out there from the
Right.
70s that are like, I want to take a road trip in that.
right.
But I've also seen some, rust bucket white vans that
Right.
I'm walking
So
the other
creepy.
direction. I'm a 48-year-old man. I'm gonna walk the other direction.
other direction.
Right.
So I can't imagine, being a young woman or, and having to, to deal.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, I thank you for coming in and calling with us. I can't wait for you to unveil the film with the fans. More importantly, you're here at Comic-Con where you're going to talk about some fun things, and they're all here to experience something new. And they have, it's all about open minds and open hearts for something new and new stories and new tales and new suspense as well. So let's look and see. Do you want to start with yours and kind of show what your
Sure.
ideas here?
I was going to make SpongeBob at the bottom, and as you can see, it turned green because I wasn't using green. So I was gonna do that, but then I just started making
But you started with the flowers first, right?
I did. I started with the flowers. I don't remember if they were flowers or some kind of weird. I don't remember, but I was gonna do jellyfish and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, next time you can do whatever you want. And what do you have with yours?
Mine, it's a rainbow car, blue rainbow.
Huh?
It has my dog's name on it.
Aw.
'cause I love
Oh.
it. And it says, "Come get your candy." So this is not a good van.
No.
This
Oh.
is not a good van at all.
Then why'd you
Get your
name it after
candy.
your dog?
Because it makes you want to come to the van.
She's luring people
Right.
in.
So
Oh my God.
puppies and candy get in the
Right,
van.
and flowers, come get your candy.
Sure.
Not a
Wow.
good van.
Oh my gosh. I loved it. I love the flowers.
Yeah.
So cute.
Yours too?
So I went with like
Trick
the.
or treat.
You got an interesting driver.
I tried to go with the Halloween theme, kind of with the film.
Right.
You know, got to have the dice. Got to roll around with the dice, and then I just figured, you know, it kind of double horns on whoever's driving this thing, you know, but trying to be cool.
Yeah.
Trying to be cool.
Rad.
Trying to be groovy.
It's always great when someone tells you they're rad. Because
Right,
you're like, oh,
right.
obviously you're rad.
You have to be rad, yeah.
Yeah.
You need a ride? I'm rad.
Yeah, it's like saying, I'm a cool guy. Obviously, you just told me you're a cool guy.
Yeah.
I believe you. Yes. So, what do we see the next one here?
Mine is a dog in the rainbow van. Not to be confused with the man in
Love
the
it.
white van.
I got
Love
you.
it.
It's pretty much straight to the
I
point.
love
Very
that.
psychedelic van. Yeah.
Yeah,
love it.
he gets up to some crazy stuff. For sure.
Mine, I followed Warren with the Halloween theme, so I have a little Halloween monster.
whoa.
Whoa, that's kind of
He's like
Oh.
cute, but still a little scary. You know what I mean?
I like that.
And this is written in blood.
Oh.
But he's also saying October
gallery.
11th,
October 11th.
which
okay.
is
That's the release date.
the release.
Wow.
So
October
it's a little
11th.
bit threatening. Like if you don't go see it, you'll get
Get
some.
Well,
munched. You get munched.
If the googly eye
You're gonna get
hubcaps did freak you out,
Oh my god! Wait,
Yeah, the
googly-
eye-
I didn't even,
the eye
I didn't even
hubcaps.
notice the googly eyed. Okay.
It's
Yeah.
a cute, like
Love
he's
it.
cute, but a little.
You don't
He's
play
got a
with
little
him.
bite.
little,
Yeah.
a little scurry. Well, very cool.
He's
Well,
rad.
I'm so happy to have you here. I hope you had fun, and more importantly, we hope you enjoy the rest of your Comic-Con. Go buy some stuff you don't need to put on a shelf somewhere, and have fun with the fans, and just kind of enjoy being here, because everyone here is just about enjoying what they love, and that's the beautiful part about here. So very cool.